Hello everybody, this is Nick Argenbright, and I am on the road, so that means, I am recording from my phone, so apologies if this doesn't sound as good as quality as normal, but it is what it is. And luckily, I don't think the microphones are that bad for the iPhones in some cases, so this, it is what it is, but it isn't bad. Alright, so this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky is episode 366. Today we're going to talk about the movie The Post by Steven Spielberg starring Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. But before we get to that, we have a few announcements, a few things to go over. And by the way, I was corrected, it is episode 366. I just was making sure Black Panther was 365. If you have a lot of friends and pals like we do, it's always important to show a spotlight on your friends. So, one of those friends is Mad Lab. You can be original and check out the many shows we have coming up, such as Sketchy Pitches, which I believe, as of the day this goes up, is now out there. So, if you want tickets, go to madlab.net/tickets.html. The dates of the show officially are March 8th through the 10th, 16th and 17th, and 23rd and 24th. Come see a hilarious show. Tickets can be found at, again, madlab.net/tickets.html. Remember, MadLab, be original. For links and info on our other friends like Pack Rat Comics, head on over to our website under the show notes. That is over at gbgpodcast.com. Our official sponsor of the show is Audible. Over 200,000 titles to choose from, like Born to Run, written and narrated by Bruce Springsteen, or maybe this other book on writing, written and narrated by the horror maestro himself, Stephen King. And these are just some of the tastes you can get at Audible. And also, if you like a little bit of dessert, you can also check out our pal Keith by looking up J. Keith Jackson. Again, that's all on audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky. That's 200,000 titles to choose from, Audible. And finally, do you know that we are proud members of the It's All Been Done Presents Network? Well, speaking of the network, do you know that you're living your life wrong? Like me saying things are wrong? Well, you are. That's right, I am. Take it from Nikki Smith, a woman you should probably never take advice from, but she's telling you to do it anyway. Nikki presents a weekly advice series on our YouTube channel called Nikki Tells You How to Live Your Life, which I believe Season 1 is wrapped up. They're working on Season 2 right now. So get caught up on Season 1 and find out what hilarious topics she covers, such as, like, how much vulgarity. It's all been done anyway, so head on over to iabdpresents.com, check them out, and please support all our programming, including this show right here, at patreon.com/IABD. So, this episode is The Post by Meryl Streep. Now, I will say this, if you enjoy anything in our show, you really enjoy what we're talking about, then please let us know by emailing us at goodbadgeeky@gmail.com, or let us know on Twitter or Instagram. Our handles are the same too, goodbadgeeky. And, oh yeah, of course, subscribe to the show if you really like us. If you subscribe to the show, that's good things for us. So, and good things for you too, because you get an episode every time one is updated in the system. So how rad is that? Okay, enough of me rambling. Again, we're going to talk about The Post by Steven Spielberg, and this is a GBG Drive-By. So it's literally me either kind of like this, where I'm mobile and I can't record with my home equipment, or I'm actually literally mobile. It means I'm driving and just holding my phone, or I have, my new thing is I have like a kind of a rig I set up with my headphones where they kind of pretty much just help me hold the phone up, and I hold the phone to my chest while I drive, so it doesn't like move around and stuff like that. Alright, and I don't know why I did that. Probably hurt your ears. Alright, so enough of me talking and rambling. Here's episode 366 of The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky, The Post. Hello everyone, and welcome out to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky. I know the audio does not sound great for this, so I apologize, but this is literally a GBG Drive-By because I am driving right now in my car. If you're in the Columbus, Ohio area, then you know that if you get off, I believe it's like, 670 to 70 split, or, 670 East, 670 West split. It doesn't matter. Why do you need to know that? Well, it's because if you're ever in the Columbus area, I'm trying to show you that I'm trying to go to 670 West Dayton exit. I'm passing the Smith Brothers Hardware Company. So there's my Columbus cred, motherfuckers. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. Because I'm legit. That's why I woke. That makes no sense. Look, you'll probably get some of these just because I'm a really busy guy, and actually anytime I have to spend recording, not with other people, but it's just myself, I have to motivate myself. The motivation is, it's kind of hard just because the time I do have, I could be doing other things. I could be driving and recording and driving and driving, recording and driving some more. So I well, why not just do it? Go for the fucking goal. So that's what I'm doing. Because also I'm so busy right now, my time is spent at home either with my wife, or I'm just like, you know what, I want to fucking relax right now and play, Zelda: A Link to the Past, because I never really played it when I was younger. My friend had it. His mom babysat me. He was a few years older than me, but we would play Zelda: A Link to the Past, but I was only allowed to play one of the 3 save slots. And the thing is I never got fucking anything done because I didn't know where he was left off. I didn't know where he modified it last or anything like that. And also, every single time I did anything, I wasn't allowed to save. And I get it. He took his saved games very fucking seriously. And again, back then you had to, right? We didn't see that these games would be around forever. We had a sense that at some point the games would go away. So I kind of understand it, but it's just more like a live and learn process, and I get it. So, yeah, so you're going to see probably a lot of episodes like this, possibly if I'm not with other people like in Black Panther from last week. So this episode, and these are drive-by, so they won't be that long. But the first up I'm going to talk to you about is The Post. Now, The Post is a good movie. It's not a great movie, so let's get that right out of the way. And I got also throw some credit out there is that I'm a huge fan of my boy Spielberg. I love Steven Spielberg. His movies have touched me in a way that I'm excited for the rest of my life. I mean, truly, truly excited. I really, really love it. And I love his work. I mean, for example, I love Hook. I think Hook is a great movie. And part of it is his direction. So even sometimes when some of the things don't work, the direction keeps it lively and moving. And The Post actually is the first time I've ever felt like I walked away going, oh, he did some things I just didn't agree with as a director. Man, I felt they were all directorial choices. Now, one of them was a writing choice, but at the end of the day, him and his editor could have taken it out. Let's talk about that first, because it's not the most damning, I don't think. It's the one that, it didn't make me cringe while listening to it. Like, actually full-on cringe. And I looked at my wife, who then kind of was like, yeah, that's pretty bad. Which was the scene I'm talking about. And the scene is, just for those out there who don't know, like, for example, the scene in Good Will Hunting, where Robin Williams is at the park, and he's like, do you even know what love is? If I asked you what love is, you'd probably quote me Sonnets by Shakespeare. And that whole, it's like a 2-page monologue. That is what some people call Oscar bait. It's written in the movie as a scene that could be used in the best supporting actor or best actor scene. And Sarah Paulson, who is a fantastic actress, a lovely actress, a woman who I don't think she's given a bad performance. She might disagree with that because we're our own worst enemies. But in here, she does not do a bad job. She plays Tom Hanks' wife, his character's wife, and to be fair, his character, or that character that she plays, is a thankless role because she's still like the doting housewife to an extent, but she's not, but she is, but she's not. And the whole point of the movie, for those who have not seen The Post, is that the President Nixon is trying to shut down the Pentagon Papers from being released, and he's suing the New York Times, and the Washington Post gets them, and they're about ready to release them, and it's going to be bad for Nixon and his administration. And I mean, not just the other administrations, but in particularly Nixon. So, oh my God, my car just hit a thing, and it was bad, people. So, Jesus Christ. Sorry, it took me out of it. So, what happened was, she has to, and it's very evident, is that she's not respected by the board. She's not respected by a lot of people. And Tom Hanks, you get a sense that he doesn't really respect her either, because she says she talks a big game, but she's not actually bark. Her bark is worse than her bite at this point of the movie. But by the end of it that her bite is going to be worse than her bark. that's the general idea, which is when she agrees to it, she commits to it, not just kind of faltering and cowering to the president because he's the president, which, again, fantastic stuff. It's really good. Now, the scene in question, though, with Sarah Paulson is a scene that's written as Academy Award-winning Oscar speech, Oscar bait, and she pretty much tells Tom Hanks, don't you know what she's up against? You know, she's turning on her friends, the people that she's known and loved her entire life, and this and that. And if you don't get that, I mean, you're kind of the bad guy here. Like, you got to at least sympathize with her from her viewpoint and see how hard it is. And of course, Tom Hanks is like, well, of course it's not hard, it's the truth. And he's like, yes, but the truth for her is that these are people that she's known her life. These are her actual friends. And to do that will not only make her a pariah to them, but, you know, the board will turn against her. She'll become an enemy of everybody. You gotta see how, and she could go to jail. You gotta see where she's coming from on this. Now, here's the thing. This scene is then later kind of regurgitated, and I feel in a much better way, with Meryl Streep and Alison Brie, who Alison Brie, kind of in a similar role, it feels like they probably had more and got cut out, her and Sarah Paulson both, but Sarah Paulson got her Oscar nomination speech in. Well, I think Alison Brie had like one or two scenes, and it wasn't until the second scene a little bit later where it's her and Meryl Streep talking. Meryl Streep just comes clean and says, hey, I could get in big trouble for this, and I want to do it, but you don't know how these men look at me, and I miss your father. And I feel like there's more truth in that scene. And here's the thing too, Spielberg, to me, in my opinion, is more of a show don't tell guy, and I feel like in this case he kind of told and not shown, it just reeked of you trying to manipulate me, even though I already know you're going to manipulate me. If you can, you know, drop the curtains in front of my eyes and fool me, which I usually can be fooled, but for some reason it didn't fool me, and that bugged me. The other thing that was really cringeworthy, though, was, and I mean, it was cringeworthy. Like, the Sarah Paulson thing was like, well, Sarah Paulson's acting the fuck out of her scene, and that's awesome. But this other one, oh no, man, it was pretty bad. It was straight up, they win the court case against the Times and the Post, and Meryl Streep walks out, and it's like, it's a brand new day. The sun is high. The birds are singing that, you know, Nixon's going to go down. I did a little Dr. Horrible reference there, but you get the point. Anyway, she's looking up, and it's a brand new day, and all the hippies that are protesting, and all the women who are protesting, and men who are protesting too, as she goes down, it's like Jesus is coming down off the mountaintop, and they part, and it's just like this, and I'm sure in theory it's beautiful, but like I felt it was like Moses parting the Red Sea, and it felt so ham-fisted and cheesy and chintzy that I had a huge problem with it. And I mean, during it, I turned to my wife and I was like, that's a little lame. I mean, come on. And that's the thing, is that usually I don't feel about like that in these types of movies. Like, I'm usually like, oh, look, she's parting the sea like Jesus, or Moses, where the fuck his name is. You know, I really, and it's Meryl Streep too, so she can do, you know, big Jesus arms, and that'll be okay, or whatever the fuck. But it just felt really ham-fisted, and it's like, look, we get it. It just really bugged me. And outside of that, and I just feel like it wasn't Spielberg's strongest work. I feel like it came at a perfect time. The movie did. It's a movie of our time where, you know, the president is saying that the news is fake, and the thing is that it's not fake. It's really called, are you being an ostrich and sticking your head in the sand, or are you actually listening to what's actually happening around you in the world? And sadly, right now in the world, there's a lot of people that they've been conned by this huckster, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. But I mean, the reality is that there are people that believe that Trump is, everything he says is true, and the fact is it's not. And part of that is that it's people who watch Fox News. They believe what's on Fox News, and it's really funny that, because here we need to get back to, and part of this is on the networks a little bit too, but we need to get back to where the news needs to be truthful 100%. There's no slants, there's no whatever. You can offer opinion pieces, and that's good, but yeah, and I'll throw this out there too, like I'm a reader of the Post, the Washington Post, which is the movie itself. I'm a huge fan of it, and I've done that since Dan Rather did a call to arms back right before Trump got elected, saying, hey, the news is going to be under attack here, and it's going to get worse. And he wasn't wrong. It's gotten worse. But that's definitely one of those things where, yeah, man, it was pretty... Anyway. So that's my review of the Post. It's not a very long one, I know, but it literally is just, it's just an okay movie. Not a great one. And for Spielberg, it's actually a little bit more mediocre. I think the subject matter that he conquered is really good. And some scenes seem very effortless. But I just, because of how he was able to stitch it all together and make me emote, that's where I was just like, meh. It's not his strongest work. I think he could have done a little bit better, or there's some choices he made that just weren't great. Again, casting, perfect. Sarah Paulson, I know I ragged on her speech in that movie, but she did it wonderfully. That's the thing. She did such a great job. I mean, absolutely fantastic. And then you also have Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, Bradley Whitford, and, oh shit, the guys from Mr. Show. Can't think of their name. David Cross, and I can't think of the other guy's name. Alison Brie is really good too. I mean, all these wonderful, wonderful people. Also, I don't know the actor's name, but the shout out to the lawyer, who the lawyer is very led to believe you are led to believe the lawyer is kind of in Nixon's pocket. But he's also a very firm supporter of Meryl Streep's character. So when he starts to turn against her a little bit, when she finally has her moment of kind of saying, fuck you, this is what we're doing. We're taking it to press because it's the news and it needs to be reported, because we can't let political affiliation dictate, or our friends dictate whatever. I mean, it's news, and they did things that were horrible. This is what we need to do. And she publishes it. It really is amazing, because there's this moment where, and Spielberg, I love that Spielberg captured it. Again, there's some good things in the movie, and one of them was he did a shot to the lawyer who's been kind of against her at this point, and he kind of was just like, good for her. Like, she finally stood up, because he's been trying to help her stand up to the board, and that's what she does. She stands up to Bradley Whitford, who kind of wants her off the board because she's a woman, and women don't know how to do anything, which is a bunch of fucking bullshit. But yeah, it's really good. I really think that if you haven't seen it, it's worth checking out. But, I mean, I had some gripes with it. I think that the performances are worthy of Academy Award nominations, but I don't know. I know there are other movies out there where the performances might be a little stronger. So we'll see. But in terms of anything in this episode that you're like, Nick, you're wrong, I don't agree with that, please do so in a tasteful manner. You can do so by emailing me at goodbadgeeky@gmail.com, or you can reach us out on Twitter, or if you go to Facebook, there's a link on gbgpodcast.com, or just type in and search The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky, and you can find us there and comment and leave info, and we might read your comments on one of our next episodes, or just do an episode with all that stuff anyway, or I don't know. Either way, give us a buzz, and we will, yeah, man, it'll be really cool. All right, I'm trying to park, which is not a really good thing right now, because I'm stupids, y'all. I'm bare stupids, and I just don't know how to not be stupids while doing the stupid stuff. So, all right, I'm done. I'm parking the car. That's right. You know what? That's the key to the end of the podcast, is you park the car, hear that, unbuckle the safety belt. Can you hear all that? And then you're just like, thanks for listening to the Good, the Bad, and the Geeky Drive-By. And make sure to check out our friends and sponsor and the network info that is before this stuff right here. And you have a good one.
Jeez! You're a creep! Go away! We're having a good time until you showed up, cheapers! Go have some coffee with cream or something! Because I'll tell you something! This is a happy place!